What's going on, everybody? Jelly here for another video, and today we're going to be starting a series called Season Predictions, pretty much. So I'm going to be going down through all 30 teams, and this won't be consecutive videos, but it'll just be every now and then. I'll probably do a lot of match filming these because it's pretty easy to film. And what I'll be doing is just going over each team's starting lineup, star players, most improved player predictions, who has the most potential on the team, and then just their season prediction, and if they'll make the playoffs or not. Before we get into this, I just wanted to say school is starting up this Thursday, and I'm going to start getting into a normal routine again, so I think that might mean more videos, I don't know, but we were just gone for a little while. So starting off with our first team today, we have the Atlanta Hawks, and this team is kind of interesting. They don't have many good players, so if we take a look at their top players, it's not really that impressive. I think their best player on the team is Dennis Schroeder, point guard, 6'1", 172 pounds. I think he'll have a breakout year this year, hopefully, because if not, this team's kind of in deep trouble. Stat predictions for him, I'm guessing 21 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds. Around that. You can add in the 0.3 or whatever if you want to, but that's just the basic stat predictions right there. 21 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. If that is a stat line that Dennis Schroeder has, he might have a chance to make the All-Star team. We'll see how that works out in the East. They still have a lot of good players out there, especially if we might see DeMarcus Cousins, Anthony Davis, who knows, joining the East side, but we'll get into a different video on that later. But anyways, yeah, so that would be Dennis Schroeder's stat prediction. Let's get into their starters. Alright, so at the point guard spot, we have Dennis Schroeder. At the shooting guard spot, we have Marco Bellinelli. Small forward, Taurean Prince. Came off that rookie season, had a nice year. I think he made the all-rookie second team, if I can remember that. And then power forward, Ersan Ilyasova. Traded from the Philadelphia 76ers to the Atlanta Hawks before the trade deadline, I believe. He'll bring rebounding, shooting from the three, and I think he's an underrated piece to that team. And then hopefully they'll start John Collins to get him some good minutes at the center position, help him develop a little bit. He really showed out during the summer league, was slept on a lot in the draft. I think he was picked 16th overall by this team, and he's a really underrated good player, and I really hope that they start him, or if not, they'll start Miles Plumlee, who they also got in the Dwight Howard trade. So that's my starting lineup predictions. I think this team's gonna win about 25 games and they're going to lose 57. It's a lot of losses to not a lot of wins, but looking at it on paper, it's a really, really bad team. And I forgot to mention, but they do have Dwayne Dedmon. They signed him in the offseason for $7 million. 1-year deal. I don't really know why. I guess he'll bring in a little bit of, I don't really know what to call it, because if they're trying to go for a low draft pick, bringing him in on a 1-year deal is kind of makes no sense to me at all. Maybe just to look like they're not tanking, but honestly, if I was this team, I would try to be as bad as possible, just making Dennis Schroeder my go-to guy every time, and just try to be literally as bad as possible while not looking as bad as possible. So trying to shoot for a top 5 draft pick. I think the draft class this upcoming season is going to be pretty loaded. Michael Porter Jr., Luka Doncic, DeAndre Ayton, just all those guys, Marvin Bagley III in that upcoming draft classes. So if the Hawks can land one of those guys, pair him with John Collins, and then you have Dennis Schroeder, a young point guard, that team can be up and coming, and maybe if they can sign someone this year in the offseason. But I don't really think that's an attractive free agent destination, but anyways, that's besides the point. Let's move on to the next team. This is going to be kind of biased, but I'm going to try to make it as unbiased as possible. Anyways, the next team is the Boston Celtics, and they're obviously my favorite team, as you could tell from the last video. Big fan of that Kyrie trade. I was freaking out when the first Cavaliers threatened to void the trade notification popped up on my phone. If you think about the complicated parts of that trade, it works in the Celtics' favor completely, so I'm super glad it actually got done. And I'm so excited to see Kyrie Irving on the team. And anyways, let's get into this segment of the video. So this team had an incredible offseason, in my opinion. They pretty much traded away their whole entire roster. They kept 4 players, and that includes Al Horford, Terry Rozier, Marcus Smart, and Jaylen Brown, which all 4 players I love. Terry Rozier especially, I think he's very slept on. He's a very good player. I think we'll see if you guys on this team have breakout seasons like Marcus Smart. Jaylen Brown hopefully will be a most improved player on the team. Maybe even Marcus Morris. Like, you didn't hear much about him last season, but now that he's actually on a contender and a good team, you'll probably be hearing a little bit more, because I think that was actually a really underrated move this offseason. Getting rid of Avery Bradley's expiring contract, we would have to pay him a max deal. We can't even afford that. So it was a good move by Danny Ainge. He might have been able to find something better, but Marcus Morris is actually kind of a good deal, because we also had to give up a second-round pick for him. So obviously, teams are kind of afraid of that contract that Avery Bradley's getting, and the Detroit Pistons already said that they are willing to pay Avery Bradley the max deal, and I guess they wanted compensation for that with the second-round pick that Boston had to give them. So I think Marcus Morris is actually an underrated acquisition for most teams. I think most teams would actually love to have this player. He's a good stretch 4 power forward, can play the 3 if he needs to. 6'9". He was rebounding behind Andre Drummond, one of the best rebounders in the league last season, so that's partially why he only averaged, I think it was 6 rebounds. Hopefully we'll see more rebounds out of him this year, because the Celtics really do need to improve on that, and I think they should try to pull off a trade for like Jonas Valanciunas or something like that. Try to get some more rebounding and stretch playing in there. But anyways, that's besides the point. Going on with what's actually happened in their free agency, they've also added a bunch of rookies. Semi Olynyk, Abdel Nader, Kadeem Allen, Jason Tatum, obviously the headline there. Daniel Theis, I believe he's old, but he's still a rookie. And finally, they added Gershon Yabusele, player from overseas, and he could honestly be a really good asset for this team off the bench. Moving on to the starters, obviously at point guard, the Celtics have Kyrie Irving. Shooting guard is a toss-up between 3 players, in my opinion: Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum. Since Jason Tatum's a rookie, I think he can be counted out, and I think Marcus Smart will be wanted more off the bench. So that leaves Jaylen Brown, and I think that's a good spot for him. He's 6'7", Jason Tatum's 6'8". Jaylen Brown also has 1 year more experience than Jason Tatum. He'd be owed to start more than Tatum would. I just think Marcus Smart off the bench is an incredible backup point guard. Like, he brings everything you need: defense, shooting, passing, just the IQ in basketball off the bench. So I really hope the Celtics do have him as their 6th man, Jason Tatum as their 7th man, Aaron Baines off the bench as well. So they also have a pretty fire bench, and if they can acquire a center like Jonas Valanciunas, then Marcus Morris can come off the bench. Yeah, so moving on from that, small forward, obviously you have Gordon Hayward, and then power forward is a toss-up between Marcus Morris and Jason Tatum. I think it's going to be Marcus Morris just because he's got more experience, and I think Tatum off the bench backing up Gordon Hayward is going to be a great fit for him, and he's going to be able to develop as a player. Tatum's going to have tons more minutes to develop as a player. He has just so many players around him that he can learn from. He'll be more poised, and then you might see him start next season, so not this upcoming one, but the year after that, and you might see that 2K rating go up. I think he could be like a really good player in the next 2 years, like top 5 small forward, because LeBron will be gone by then. Next 3 or 4 years, LeBron will be gone, but he'll probably still be top 10, but he probably won't be top 5 anymore. Whatever about Jason Tatum, but then obviously you have Al Horford at your center position, and that's the one thing I wish that they could do, is improve that one position, because if they do, Al Horford can play big power forward, because he brings the 3-ball, the mid-range game, the passing ability, everything you want from a power forward. So season prediction, I think they'll be 60-22. Again, that might sound a little bit biased, but if everything plays out for them, their bench does really well, the starters can perform well together, and the chemistry goes up during the season, this team is something to really watch out for. They'll be a first seed in the East probably. It's going to look similar to last season, where the Celtics are really, really good and the Cavs are like mediocre in terms of like how well they were the season before that. So you'll see Celtics first seed, Cavs second seed, and then obviously they'll both make the Eastern Conference Final. And then it just depends if the Celtics get a rebounder. Hopefully they notice that they're really needing that mid-season and acquire one. But if the Celtics get a rebounder, I say Celtics Warriors Finals. If they don't, Cavs Warriors Finals. So like I said, if the Celtics can get that rebounder that they need, if they realize they're having that problem midway through the season, then I think they will be able to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers and move on to the finals. So there was a rumor swirling around that DeMarcus Cousins is possibly rumored to be traded to the Cavaliers, either in the next couple weeks or at the trade deadline, and that would kill the Celtics' chances to make the NBA Finals. So hopefully that doesn't happen. That's where pretty much I was going with that. Anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. I'll have more of these coming out eventually. I just didn't really have much to film at the moment, so I wanted to do something quick. The off season is good and bad because you have a lot of video ideas, just like predictions and stuff like that. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, share the video, do all that stuff. Alright guys, so before you do anything, before you click out of this video, I want to mention one thing real quick. Go down into the description and click that link right there, TubeBuddy. It's a sick software. It gives you everything from monetization just to production, everything you need to know about your YouTube channel, or even if you don't have a YouTube channel, someone else's YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, how many views, 4 to 6 views per video. So literally it will show you everything you need to know on someone else's video, like I said, or your videos. It's an awesome software. I use it all the time, so make sure you do that, and it would help me out a lot. I think it would help you guys too. Even if you're just like on YouTube every day, it's awesome to see like how much someone made on this video. If they're doing good, give them a like, whatever, like ratio, all that great stuff. So anyways guys, like I said, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.